Today we have a rather interesting feature, which is the animation region here, so that you can like create a region of your frames where you set it to different animation types, right? I see this kind of feature in as Sprite, where you want to create one long animation, but then you can separate it into different region, and then you should be able to export each region into its own animation. There's no support for that yet. Right now, this is just a region that you can define, right? You can select it, and it's just gonna loop inside that region, right? You can edit, change the name, the color, the range, and stuff like that. So it's still just a basic bare bones support. Tomorrow, I'm probably gonna went in and like add a system, probably a tag and an export maybe, which allow you to separate, export each region as its own separate file. So that is interesting. I think gonna be useful feature because I saw a lot of people using it in other software, again like Sprite. There are also some improvement and bug fix. Right, we have this new node 2. Is this a new node for today? Could be. Which is a draw line point, which to be fair already exists. It's a part of feature in the draw line node. Basically draw a line between 2 points, right? But with draw line nodes, because there's also other feature in there as well, there's support for like path, for a custom line, all that kind of stuff. It kind of get slow. Basically, it's just really unoptimized when you try to just draw a bunch of line from a bunch of points. So the draw line point is specifically just to do that. You define it a point, and if you just draw a line between it, there's some really basic rendering properties, right? For the thickness, the color, and stuff like that. I'm probably gonna add more of it in the future, right? It also support with only one point as well. Like it's also even though it's not like an array processor here, the node itself also support array value to some degree. So you can have like multiple starting point to one destination, right? So which allow you to create this kind of animation. And also, of course, you can plug both the starting point and end point. Use array for both starting point and the end point, which allow you to create some interesting, well, to be fair, fairly basic but also interesting animation. Again, if you want to make this kind of stuff, another idea is to use like particle with trail, but you're gonna lose control over like each individual point. You're gonna have more features, but you're gonna lose control. In this way, you can have more control, but because this point are just an output from the scatter point, right? And it just like you transform point to scale with. I think this is pretty interesting. So that's one node we have. I think we have another node 2, right? The viewer path skill amateur skin. Actually no. Oh, that's fine. We also have improvement on the path builder. Do we have the node in here? I don't think we do. The path builder, it just adds a tool that allow you to add point in individually. Again, in the same theme of this point array. Now in the path builder, you can define the point directly inside the node itself without having to drag in a point array from other node, right? Just for convenience. There are also improvement on the, not improvement, but the bug fix on the leaf hull in the MK3. I think in the past there's a problem where it doesn't render just the leaf by itself. You have to render the whole tree, which make it difficult for you to do like ordering. So now I fix it. You should be able to render just the leaf itself. There are also some improvement on MK flare randomly, right? The MK flare node now have an option to randomize the flare with most of the time it's gonna be pretty bad, to be honest. If you click randomize, most of the time it's just gonna be some random flare. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, that's the nature of randomization, right? But yeah, because the node is very powerful, but it's also really complicated, right? You have to build basically each element individually. It can be really difficult to do, so maybe you can just randomize it until you get something good. It's gonna be difficult, or maybe you can get something that are like good enough and then just do a more fine-tuned modification later. I think there also a improvement on the chromatic aberration as well. You now have oversampling setting, so you have a little bit more control over how the chromatic aberration works. On the topic of that, there also a new hotkey for the node attribute pi2 or pi menu. I think it's Alt A. Yeah. So the attribute, when I say attribute, I mean the stuff in here: oversampling, surface depth, and interpolation. And you can now change that, modify that without having to go into the inspector itself, just selecting the node and then do Alt A, and you'll be able to set this specific attribute in the pi menu. There's some error on the composite. Oh, let's go back to the animation panel. I forget about one more thing. It's a hotkey for modifying the easing. So I haven't realized until now that the easing system using double click and drag is actually quite inconvenient, especially when you have to do that a lot, and especially when your mouse is not really good. I think like sometimes double click doesn't register and it's kind of annoying, right? So now I add a hotkey just for that, and it's just E. So you press E, and now you don't have to do double click anymore. You can just drag left and right to control. You can do the square bracket, right? You do the left square bracket to adjust just the first, just the left side, and then you do the right one to just control the right. Right, it this one, as you can see here. And I think the hotkey here is kind of weird because the E key, the left bracket and right bracket is not close to each other in the keyboard, right? But I think that I might change, but like I'm not sure, because E is gonna be used most often, right? But the left and right bracket also makes sense in a way because it's the left side and the right side. I'm not sure. The hotkey might change, but yeah, I just add the ability to adjust the easing without having to double click, so it's gonna be a little bit easier. And then there's some bug fix here and there, but that would be it, right? There's also a project I did today. Again, this is a reason why I have some improvement on the animation panels, because I'm making this animation, right? And I have to add a lot of keyframe, a lot of easing, and yeah, that's why I have to find a new way to add easing easily. So we have that. I think there might be another project that I can show today. That's yesterday. And that's it, I guess. Yeah. So that would be it. So